Hey gardeners, thank you so much for joining with me here on our garden adventure here on the Urban Gardener channel. It's so awesome to have you along with us. It is our very first garden journal of 2025. So, all right, what's next? So, all right, everybody, welcome to the Urban Gardener's very first Garden Journal 2025. Here we go. It's time to get growing. Let's get growing. Let's do it. Let's have a great growing season ahead. But before we get going on this video, I did want to ask you one quick question. If you could jump down into the comment section below and let me know a little bit about how do you handle adversity? How have you taken on some of your biggest challenge? So you tell me just a little bit about how you handled a challenge in your life, and I'll tell you about a challenging thing that happened here on our channel, my life, all that sort of stuff. It kind of leads me up to kind of what I want to talk about today, and that is kind of how and what we're going to be doing as we move forward as kind of look back at what we've been doing over the last couple of seasons as well too. But let's look a little forward first. Let's talk about kind of what I'm planning on, what we're looking to do here on our garden journal videos. Now there, as you can see, are some changes and things that will be happening as we move forward. I'm going to try to do some more kind of like videos specifically targeting certain subjects in gardening, some how-to videos, do-it-yourself videos and those sort of things that have previously kind of already been kind of incorporated into what we do with the garden journal. And I want to kind of separate those just a little bit from our garden journal content and make some specific videos on different subjects and topics in the garden. And it's going to be fun for us to be able to kind of do that and then kind of have two different ways that we can look at what we've got growing on in our garden. Again, some how-to videos and some things that you'll see coming out. You might have already noticed I've started a playlist series for 2025 looking at my peppers and how I grow each of my peppers throughout the growing season. We're going to do a whole series, whole playlist. I'm going to look at all different aspects of growing peppers, how I grow them versus maybe how others might grow them, all sorts of things. So we're going to go through all of that here through 2025. And again, it'll make for a really great playlist to kind of look back on. But I'll probably do it again too next year as well too, so I can kind of add some things that I've noticed I missed or that sort of stuff, so we can really make maybe here this next season the ultimate guide to growing peppers, or the ultimate urban gardener guide to growing peppers anyways. So look forward to more videos coming out in that series. We'll continue working on that. I'm going to try to throw in some other things. Plus, again, too, one of the themes that I'm going to be talking about as I get into some things here throughout the rest of the video is, kind of dealing with some challenges, right? Well, one of my challenges right now is getting caught up on a lot of things because of some things that, again, I'll get into this a little bit more. But one of them is I've got videos already that are basically, as they would say in television or movies, they're in the can. I've got like 3-4 really good feature videos that are in the can, basically, waiting for me to finish editing them and get them put out and released to all of you guys so you can see them. And I gotta get caught up on this stuff. This is kind of a part of one of my challenges throughout this year. So that kind of also goes in with what I want to say, what we're going to expect with the garden journal specifically. As we pull away some of the more specific things, I want to kind of do kind of a general garden journal. This is what it's called, the garden journal. So I want to look at kind of how things are growing along throughout the growing season, make this hopefully a more regular thing. but I want it to be kind of more of our personal vlog in a way. It's a journal, it's a vlog, it's a looking at how things are going throughout the season, and a good way for me, as many of my videos in the past are good ways for me to look back at a lot of the content, or a lot of the things that I've through the content, a lot of the things I'm growing in the garden, So this will be good for me as well as for all of you to be able to follow along with my garden journey here throughout 2025 here on our garden journals. And again, we'll kind of follow along with how things are growing, but this is also something to, I want to be kind of, as you can kind of tell with the question already, maybe something also just a little bit personal too, somewhere I can share kind of maybe personal stories, personal things and things like that that are kind of going on, not too personal, you know what I mean, but in some sense, just kind of a journal in a way too, to go along with my garden journal that I can share with all of you guys. And you guys can also too, and this is something I would love as well too, if you do have any sort of questions you have for me, or you would like to know about me, or anything at all in general, this is also a great space for that as well too. So also get down in the comments below. I'm having fun speaking today, but anyways, get down in the comments below and let me know if you do have any questions or anything for me that I could answer for you as well too, and I can feature those in later garden journals. So kind of sort of like Roots and Refuge, Jess, she gets on and, she'll do some things in the garden and talk about some stuff like that and just kind of share with all of you. So that's kind of what this space is going to be more so. We'll do specific, real, more in-depth look at gardening subjects and topics and other videos and things as well too. And of course, we do have our live show, Let's Get Growing, every weekend, Saturday and Sundays, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And we've interviewed and talked with so many of the gardening community's most prominent communicators, YouTubers, radio and television hosts. We've got podcasters, authors of many, many books. We're just getting so much great garden knowledge on this great, fun live gardening show. So you want to go there and check out as well too, if you want to get to know some more things about the gardening community and meet some people and all of that as well too. That's kind of one of the biggest purposes of the Urban Gardener and all of this that we do here, is to really grow our community, to get together with each other, to share with each other, to help each other grow and maximize our gardens and really be able to succeed the best that we can. And that's really what this is all about here. And through sharing a lot of sort of stuff. And like I said, through the last couple of seasons for me, if you go back, well, those have been following along for the last few years, you probably know I've been really intermittent and not so doing a good job at making sure I'm consistent with putting out some of the video content for this channel. And I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit more here as we move on a little bit too. But I want to kind of preface as we move forward that, we're going to just kind of take our time as we kind of get into a stride, and hopefully the goal is that we're going to become a good weekly garden journal like we used to be, and then also to be able to share with everybody lots of things that are going on in the garden, like garden tours, seasonal garden tours and things like that we'll do as well too as we move forward. I do want to kind of try to work on and spend some time finishing and editing up those other videos and some of the other things going on as well too that we're doing here. So I'm trying to catch up with some things. So stay patient with me as I catch up with these sort of things. We will get things right on track, hopefully in this season, and just get roaring along right here on the Urban Gardener channel. So I really thank you all so much for being so patient for all of the time that it's been really to take to get to the point that we're at. I think we're really heading in a great direction, and I am really, really blessed to have all of you following along with me as well too. So thank you so much for being a part of all of this. This is just really amazing when it comes down to it. I wanted to show you something all real quick before we do get moving on here. I got this plant. plant, I call it, is a plant. If I'm sure there's plenty of you who already recognize and know exactly what this is, but it's one of my favorite things right now, and I'm kind of sad. So again, personal kind of stories going on here on our garden journal, but I'm kind of sad right now because my friend here looks like he's on his way out the door. And this is a big part of being a passionate plant person, a plant enthusiast, and all of that is that sometimes they don't make it, sometimes they go. And I've done what I can. I've flushed water, I've done nutrients, I've done all sorts of stuff over the last few weeks, but it just seems like there is a sort of progression that's happening here with what, as many of you who maybe already know, is a Monstera delicosa leaf here. This is a leaf stem that broke off the plant basically a couple of years back. Yeah, a couple of years back, actually. This thing here broke off, and I was really bummed about it because I had just gotten the plant, really, so the Monstera was really new to the house, but this one busted off, and so I just thought I would try. I looked it up, and basically it said you got to have the root stem piece for the bottom of the leaf stem or whatever if you want to propagate these. But it didn't have that. It was just a broken leaf stem. So I really, I let it sit out for a day or two and let it dry up really good at the end, and then put it in here in this jar or vase with all of these different rocks and everything. And lo and behold, it started growing roots. And stayed alive and has been growing here in my house now for about 2.5, 3 years or so, maybe even 3 or more years. I'm not sure. I'd have to really look back and think back when it comes to when I got that Monstera. It was just a few years back though, and it's been growing and growing and growing and doing just fine. But this last couple of weeks I've been noticing it's starting to yellow and it's starting to fade, and no matter what I'm doing right now, it doesn't seem to be helping. So it looks like my friend might be heading out the door, but again, that's a part of being a plant person. Some plants don't make it. That's why I've got a lot of them, so I can make sure I've got a lot of plants to keep me going when it comes down to it. But it is always sad to see some of our plant friends go.
Hey, George, what are you doing?
So, all right, let's talk about dealing with adversity, handling challenges. Have you gotten down into the comments section below to let me know about any sort of challenges that you've dealt with and how you dealt with them? Was it positive? Was it maybe not the best way of handling something? I mean, I'm guilty of it all when it really comes down to it. And that's kind of a part of this whole thing we're talking about today, getting things started here in the 2025 growing season, is for me in these garden journals and videos and things as we move forward, kind of have been a challenge for me over the last couple of years. And again, like I said earlier, folks who've been following along with the channel have probably already seen and probably have already noticed this. I mean, just look at the back video catalog. It really is kind of sparse over the last couple of seasons. I've kind of tried to get some things started, and then kind of, things got in the way, and so I, kind of fell back from being able to get those things done and being consistent, which is pretty much my goal every year is to be able to do that and to be able to share with you all of my garden fun here that we're doing. I'm still doing some gardening and all of that. Maybe not as much a couple of seasons ago, but we've been kind of rebuilding back up again, kind of leading back to this challenge that I said that I was dealing with. And again, if you've been following along with the channel, you kind of probably already know, and especially those of you who are kind of going through that experience with me back when. We just recently had on my show, I just mentioned earlier, the Let's Get Growing show, a good friend, Jennifer Neubauer from Hook and Garden. And I first met Jennifer Neubauer from Hook and Garden in a Zoom meeting of about 6 gardeners from across the country who were selected to do this really, what was going to be a really fun garden competition. It was, you know, we were going to grow out of 6 different categories. There was like a hot pepper category, largest squash, biggest tomato. There was kind of like a flower or a container arrangement type of thing. Oh gosh, what were all of the other categories? But there were 6 really cool categories, and I met all these really great gardeners. And we got started in doing this really fun challenge and everything. And then there started to become some problems, not just on, and I'm going to say on my part though too, not just on their part. You know what I mean? They weren't quite fulfilling some of the things that they said they were going to do. And then I kind of got into a position where I couldn't really fulfill some of the things I was supposed to do for the competition. I caught a really, really bad bout of COVID, and this was my first bout. It really hit me hard. I was out for weeks, and really was just, I mean, I was like stuck in bed. It was bad. And so I wasn't able to get some of the things done, but at the same time, they weren't really fulfilling some of the other things. So we were kind of getting lost in communication, I think, over a few weeks period of time there while I was battling with this sickness, you know, and then one day I got the email from them, and they said, hey, you know what, we're just going to move on from you and a couple of other contestants as well, Jennifer and another contestant, as well as myself, were kind of, in a way, which was really, again, I then lean on their fault too, was that the parameters and the expectations and the things that they were supposed to fulfill on their side weren't being handled properly as well too. So you know, in the long run, I think it, you know, comes down to, you know, it's both of our fault in the long run, but it hit me hard. I was a part of something that was really fun, and then all of a sudden I was just kind of torn away from it, and that really was tough to deal with. In fact, I got videos. You can go back and look and watch how tough it was for me to deal with too, really. But it was tough, and that kind of lingered over the next couple of seasons. And you know, I'd had another time earlier in my life where I kind of done something similar, where a hard challenge hit me, and then it just kind of bled into the other things I was doing or trying to accomplish. And so there was some of that going into the next season and finishing up that season for sure, where I wasn't just, you know, I wasn't necessarily growing what I wanted to grow. I wasn't doing quite what I wanted to do. It really kind of set me back a little bit. And that's been part of my goals and the challenges that I'm dealing with over these next few seasons, including last season before too. Basically, right up to starting our live show was just kind of my getting back into all of this. And then again, like I said, you can look at some of the videos and see that I've kind of dabbled and jumped into making some of our garden journals and other videos and stuff like that, but really in the long run, haven't really been consistent with it. And so that's my goal this year, is to find some consistency, to be able to find a way to just keep moving forward with what we're doing here on the Urban Garden channel as far as our video projects are concerned. I'm going to get in and start editing and finishing up some of those other videos, and get those things done, and hopefully you'll start seeing some more consistent video content here on the channel, and I can share and you guys can follow along with me in this really fun gardening adventure. We'll see what kind of happens. I'm going to start growing and doing as much as I can throughout this year, but again, one of the big things, and I think this is the ultimate thing when it comes down to it, is not laying out so many heavy expectations for myself. I do want to get consistency. It is a goal, but I've got to be able to be a little bit easier on myself when it comes to how we implement these projects, how we move forward. Let's kind of move into it. Let's build consistency, and then ultimately let's have a great, fun, growing season. I hope you all continue to follow along with me here on the channel. It is one of the things that makes all of this so special, is the fact that you guys keep tuning in. Each and every video I make, each and every live stream we do is just really, really amazing. It is really, really above and beyond all of my expectations ever for this channel. So when it comes down to it, for all of you, I really want to do a better job too at being more consistent and sharing my gardens here as well too. So I look forward to many, many more videos to come, more live streams as well, lots and lots of great gardening conversation. And here, before we leave, definitely click that like button, hit the thumbs up, click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and yeah, like I said, jump into the comment section. Let me know about a challenge. Let me know kind of how you deal with it, and all of that too. I love hearing from all of you, even if you want to talk about other things, all that sort of stuff. I love hearing from you in the comment section. Please jump down there. I'll see you all on our very next Garden Journal.